If I told you that this episode didn't get me so pumped up that I freaking lost my shit, I would be completely lying to you, because this episode was everything I've been wanting and more as a Nagatoro fan. Oh my gosh. Now, I've read some of the manga, not the whole thing up to date at this point. However, I knew the things that were going to happen for a good chunk of this season, and just getting that adaptation was so freaking awesome. And like, with them being closer together now versus that first season where they finally started to click together, really, it's like unlike any other rom-com. I mean, there's tons of them, and like there's probably one just like this, but just the chemistry of the characters that they have really freaking gets me excited. I love this show. So episode 3 season 2, we start off with Senpai and Nagatoro in the art room, and she's pretty much talking about how she loves napping in the classroom all the time. And they've got their winter clothes on. She's got her nice, like, pastel, creamy yellow sweater on. He's got his orange sweater on. And they're just hanging out, and he's drawn flowers, which seems to be, you know, kind of like his thing, I guess. And she's like, you know, I'm going to go talk to the girls since I haven't in the last few days. So she leaves the classroom, and of course, she leaves her freaking cell phone. So Senpai is looking, you know, going down to the grade 1 area. And this is where we get introduced to a character named Orihara, who is obviously an underling in Nagatoro's grade, but different class. I think she's like 1A instead of 1C. And she's kind of seeing him like snooping around the classrooms. This episode's like a big step for Senpai, in my opinion, as a character itself. He goes down there and he's looking for her, and she's like, well, who are you looking for? And he's like, Nagatoro. And she's like, that surname sounds familiar. And she asks for his first name, and he has to think about it. And he thinks about Maki talking about her first name. And he's like, oh, you know, Hayase? And he just stutters it out. And she's like, oh, yeah, I know her. She's in class 1C. So he goes down to go give it to her, and she's not in the classroom. And sure enough, coming down the strip, we see 2 people that I don't think I know who they are. But the other 3 is, you know, Maki, Yoshi, and Sakura. So instead of having confrontation with them, because he's so afraid of them after the first season, understandably so, he runs into the classroom and hides in the locker. The classic locker hide. Those never get old, right? Especially knowing that he's obviously going to overhear something, because that's just what happens, and it's going to be something he doesn't want to hear, but he gets in there anyways. So the girls go sit down, and Nagatoro comes in, of course, with tomato juice, because, you know, I guess people drink just straight up tomato juice, which just ain't my thing. I think I'd rather have a nice cranberry on ice, but that's just me. even apple juice. Apple juice sounds dope. But so they do that, and then they start talking about, you know, the kind of guys they like, and you know, most of them just kind of talk about, like, you know, the regular type of cliches. And then Sakura just talks about how she would she'd pretty much go for like any guy, which seems about right. She seems like that kind of guy. And then they get to Nagatoro, and she pretty much says she'd like just somebody that she has fun with. And then obviously Senpai is overhearing this whole conversation, and he's thinking about all the times they've had in the past having fun together. And clearly these 2 are in love. We already know that. It just hasn't gotten to quite that point yet. But then Senpai kind of freaks out because he's hearing this, and he shakes the locker around, and the girls notice, and they think it's a ghost. So obviously the one with the balls, Nagatoro, comes to check it out. She opens the door, and she sees him, and she's like, what are you doing? And the facial expressions that the animators use in this is just brilliant this episode. And he just hands her phone, and it's just like, oh, you kind of left this in here. And so she's like, oh shit. And then she goes and points to a ghost in the entryway, or the out the window, which, you know, cliche. And they all look away, and Nagatoro just yanks him out of there. And she's like, Senpai, did you end up hearing any of that? And the perfect answer of, what? He just turns around and goes, I didn't hear anything. and she's all blushy and he's all blushy. It's really cute. So we fast forward, and Senpai is taking a jog, and he's thinking back to season 1 when Nagatoro was training him just so he could finish the sprint that they had, and we've got it again this time. And so Bison's training. He's doing pretty good, actually. You can tell that he's been consistently at least attempting to keep up his stamina, which is really neat. However, he ends up freaking like spraining his ankle midst this training at night. But, you know, and the next day he goes and he feels a lot better. And so he starts running. He's looking for Nagatoro, but she's nowhere to be found. But he gets up to there, and freaking next thing you know, Nagatoro catches right up. And the whole crew. You know, you got Sakura, Yoshi, and Maki just right on the tail. So they do that. And they're like, he's talking while he just wants to kind of go at his own pace, like a hare. Or a tortoise, and I talk about the tortoise and the hare references. And as soon as that happens, freaking Sana comes up in that freaking pretty much like a bunny girl cosplay. But he's like, you know, it's more than a cosplay. It's probably just her expression of art, because she is really weird like that. And they're like, no. The tortoise always beats the hare. So they're like kind of harassing him, but they're giving him a push. And they're literally building like a train. That sounds so bad. They build like a line, and they're pushing Senpai in the front until they get to the stoplights, because it's around the town apparently. And they split up. Nagatoro and Senpai and the other 3 are on the other side of the street. And they're like, just go ahead, we'll catch up, whatever. And while they're doing that, Senpai's ankle ends up rolling again. This time he's out for the count. So Nagatoro ends up wrapping her arms around him, and they're both clearly very blushy, but she's walking him back. And after a while, it's getting worse in the pain, so she offers to carry him on her back, which it's getting so cute, and I'm living for it. It is absolutely adorable. But he's afraid of hurting her, you know, as understandably so, because he's taller than her, bigger than her, you know, even though she is athletic and strong. And by this point in time, he's pretty much telling her that, you know, you can let me down, it's fine, I can, you know, we'll make it work. And no. The crew comes. The crew catches up, and they are all 4 around him, supporting her, because they have to beat that freaking hare. So they're running, and they pass Sana, but she ends up zooming up in front again after pretty much harassing him for being slow. Then Yoshi does this like maneuver where she goes to the front and does like a wind tunnel effect, like when you're driving your car and shit. And apparently that's enough. She's one of the smallest girls, is enough with a wind tunnel to make their speed accelerate, which I find it hilarious. And it even shows like the effect of the wind tunnel going around. I love that so fucking much. But they're running, and they do end up passing Sana, but because of the fact that they're carrying Senpai, it didn't count. They were out. So so Sana won the race. But they get back to class, and Senpai's been drawing again, and Nagatoro's been gone for 2 days, and kind of what he fears, you know, like maybe she got sick from that. But he's like, you know, she's been gone for 2 days. Maybe it's because I was in the locker and she thought it was too creepy. But this is like another big step for Senpai. The fact that he literally has the balls to go ask Yoshi and Maki about what's wrong, or, you know, if she's gone or what's going on, which is like a huge step for somebody like him. And I love that development that we're getting throughout this series, and especially this season is so good. So he asks, you know, and we find out Maki tells him that she's sick. She's been gone for 2 days. She's getting better though, and she's gonna be back probably tomorrow. However, she has her homework and stuff, so she gives it to Senpai and goes, "Hey, you can bring it to her. You know where she lives, right? Bye." And he's like, "Full shit." So he takes the homework, and he ends up going and getting a gift for her as well, which is really sweet and cute. Not rings the bell twice. There's no answer. And he goes into the yard, and he's thinking to himself, maybe she fell, maybe she's on the floor, maybe she's hurt. And he goes to look through the window, and finally, who do we see? We see Misaki Nagatoro, the older sibling, finally. Oh my gosh. Of course you can tell they are, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Um she's like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, I'm just afraid she fell in there. I'm from school." And she's like, "Okay, let's go to the police station." And then he's like, "No, no, 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 no. I got homework and I got a gift." And he's like, "Wait, are you Senpai-kun?" And he's like, "Yeah, maybe." And like, and she's like, "You're here to see my sister, aren't you?" "Thank you." And that's like the end of the episode. Waiting for next week now. Granted, we've been spoiled and got 3 episodes in 7 days, so I'm not gonna be like, whiny about it. But damn, that was a cliffhanging episode. We get to meet the older sister finally, and I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, it's gonna be such a good season. There's gonna be utter harassment on both ends for them, I feel like, especially Nagatoro next week. So that'll be freaking hilarious and awesome. This episode had a lot into it, and this is probably my favorite episode of the whole series, probably so far. And I am in love, and I am just so hyped. So yeah, let me guys know what you thought about this episode. I think this episode brought a lot to the table, and there's not like a lot of things. There's like nothing more that they could do to make me even happier. Well, there is, but it's gonna come later. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down below, if you have any gripes or what you guys think about the series so far, especially being 3 episodes in already, which is crazy to think about after 1 week. But yeah, if you like this video and you made it this long, thank you very much. Give me a like, and if you care to keep watching my content, please subscribe. And with that being said, I thank you very much for even showing up, and we will see y'all in the next video. Peace.